How to make more gold than others farming the same thing. Hi there, I'm Golden Routes. Today I'll be telling you how to make more gold than your competitors. First off, let's talk about shuffles. If you already know what a shuffle is, then you are ahead of the rest. A shuffle is where you take an item, let's say tin ore. You can do a few different shuffles with this material, so check your auction house to see which best suits your server. The one I will be talking about today is the prospecting version. For this shuffle, you will need a jewel crafter. Simply send all your tin ore you have to your jewel crafter and begin prospecting it. If you don't have any tin ore, you can either buy it off the auction house or you can farm it, which I would highly recommend farming it. But you can either farm your own tin ore, which I highly recommend, or you can buy it off the auction house. If you buy it off the auction house, there are many things to consider. The big one is it even worth it on your server. See, if you farmed for all your materials, you are playing it safe. But if you were to buy it off the auction house, then you could be potentially losing gold. It's not necessarily a guaranteed thing that you'll lose it, but it's also not a guaranteed thing that you'll be making more gold off of it. To ensure you aren't losing your hard-earned gold, study up on the materials that you get from prospecting the tin ore. That way you can make sure that you are thoroughly making sure that you are profiting off of prospecting the tin ore. The big gems that you are after are the lesser moonstone. You get 1 to 2 per prospect. The moss agate, which you get 1 to 2 off of, and then the jade, which you only get 1 off of. These 3 gems are going for around 15 to 30 gold per unit on my server, and I'd highly like to stress that this is on my server, and they could vary depending on your server, so they could go for more, they could go for less. An easy way of checking the prices for your server would be the Undermine Journal. This website is good for checking prices and sell rates. Now let's get into farming tin ore. The reason I recommend farming your own materials is because it is pure profit. Though I understand if you don't have the time to farm, this could still work for you. Anyways, I have a decent route for tin ore in Hillsbrad Foothills. I spent 2 hours gathering data. The first hour I didn't have the route complete, so the results are much different between the 2 hours. I also have herbalism, so I turned on my herb tracker and picked up herbs along the way to maximize my gold per hour. If you don't have herbalism, don't worry. You can find more tin routes on the website whilefarming.com. These are also my routes as well, so keep that in mind as well. Anyways, here is what I had picked up. Once you're done farming, send the ore to a jewel crafter and begin prospecting the tin ore you got. Rather, you got it from farming or you got it from the auction house. Either way it works. Now, this shuffle can work for just about anything. I didn't script this part because I really wanted to get personal with this part, so that way it can hopefully make a little bit more sense rather than through a script. So, there are many shuffles that you can do. Shuffling is a really great way to make gold. You can easily make more gold than your competitors through shuffles. It's just learning those shuffles and understanding how they work and what you can do to make gold over your competitor. So, Shadowlands content is really big right now. A lot of people are enjoying it from my understandings, which is good. I'm glad they are. So let's use Shadowlands content for example. How I had made most of my gold during Shadowlands is through shuffling. I'd take herbs. I'd actually buy those off the auction house. I wouldn't farm them. So keep that in mind. But I'd buy them off the auction house. I'd mill the herbs. And I would throw the pigments on the auction house. I wouldn't worry too much about turning the pigments into inks. This was just to save a little bit of time because the inks weren't worth much more than the pigments. So that's a couple of things to keep in mind as well. Is it worth it to continue the shuffle and keep turning the materials into more materials, or is it worth it to just turn one material into another material? So what I mean by that is it worth it to take an herb and mill it and sell the pigments on the auction house, or is it worth it to take an herb, mill it, turn the pigments into inks, and then post the inks on the auction house? Or is it worth it to take an herb, mill it, take the pigments, turn the pigments into inks, and then take the ink and then turn it into another item and then sell it? You know, there's a lot of factors to really factor in when doing this, so keep that in mind. And again, these shuffles work for just about anything. So if you are wanting to make a decent amount of gold, then look at materials as something other than just a raw material, if that makes sense. So when I go and pick up ore, I don't just see ore. I see all the gems that I can get from it. I see all of the bars I can get from it. You know, like the different types of gold. Or same thing with like herbs. I don't see just herbs. I see the pigments. I see the inks and all that. Same with cloth. I see greens, and I see the greens turning into dusts, and you know, it's just shuffles are my life, basically. So if you're wanting to make more gold than your competitors, then a shuffle is definitely for you. If you're okay with competing with other people and all of that, then this may not necessarily be the method for you, but it will definitely work itself out. So keep all of that in mind. Anyways, guys, this was my first detailed script, so please let me know how you think I did. I would really love to hear some feedback on it. I am definitely trying to better my channel and make the content better for you guys. I do plan on editing at some point, but for now, we'll just take it one day at a time, you know? Instead of worrying about trying to come up with all of this all at once. I think scripts are first, then editing slowly, and then working my way up to some big edits is very important. I think I was trying to rush the edits, and they weren't necessarily turning out too well. I was told that my edits were actually pretty decent. You know, I was actually told they were really good. But I take that comment with a grain of salt because I don't watch YouTube videos, so I don't know what good edits are compared to other edits. You know what I mean? Like, my whole style of editing is to be funny. You know, I don't want to be super serious about the content I'm putting out, but at the same time, I want to be serious enough to put a point across to show you guys how to make gold. you know. But yeah, I think that is all for now, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.